anyone else get a little grumpy if you don't get enough reading time during the week? Hey everyone, I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem, and this is my weekly reading roundup for the week ending August 4th, 2025. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. I'm a composer, now also a booktuber. You can find my music in The Wheel of Time Season 2, His Dark Materials Season 3, and the newly released The Hills of Tenchiko, the featured song in The Wheel of Time Season 3 Episode 6. As always, Tuesday's weekly reading roundup time, where I talk about the previous week, what I read, what happened to me this week, and I like to use this as opening up dialogue because I never like to just chat at you and go, peace, see you later. I want to start a dialogue and talk about the books that you're reading. So make sure at the end of this video to leave a comment and let me know what you've been reading so we can discuss that all together. So if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. And now on to the books. So as I alluded to at the very beginning of the video, it was a little bit harder to read and concentrate on reading for a couple reasons. I was working on several new music projects, so I was going gangbusters, 12-14 hour days, and I was also gearing up for the release of my single The Meaning of Life, which you can check out below. If you like, the Beatles, late 60s psychedelic pop, then the song is probably for you. But that led me to being very tired at the end of the day and finding it very hard to concentrate on epic fantasy books. And as you know, it's very hard to understand some of the world building and the depth of characters unless you're like fully present reading. So I've been trying to figure out ways of making that change for myself so I could be present while I read the books. But let's jump on into what I actually read. So I got a chance to make a good dent in this one. This is Stone of Farewell, Book 2 of Tad Williams' epic, memory, sorrow, and thorn trilogy that I'm reading with Booked and Busy's giant 3 swords along read-along that she's doing with Philip Chase, Dr. Fantasy himself, Gavin Reed's, Elliot Brooks, some booktuber heavyweights, I guess you could say, and then me for some reason. So I'm very happy to be along for the ride and read with them. I gotta say, this book is a lot more POVs, so it is harder to track everything, but the story and the characters are so much more compelling, I think, than the first one. Simon is so much more interesting to read. I think he was less likable in the first book, and rightfully so. He's like a petulant 15-year-old kid, and he hasn't come of age yet. He's kind of has his head in the clouds and very absent-minded and a dreamer, right? But in this book, you really see him come into his own a little bit, and he's going through a lot of trials and tribulations, as the rest of the gang are in their search for a mysterious object, which I'm not going to spoil anything at the moment, but I'm about 150 pages from being done with this. So I'm at the 3/4 mark-ish, and I'm riveted. I mean, I want to just kind of sit and just read this, but music and life always gets in the way of my reading time. I don't know how I'm going to solve this problem, but I gotta say, if you were lukewarm on the first Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn book, and you're a little trepidous about going into this one, rest assured this one is far better, I think. And I like the first one personally, but I felt like certain elements of this one are more compelling character-wise. I will say that it does meander a little bit, kind of like the first one. I personally like that kind of high fantasy. Like, I love The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. Even some of the later entries of George R. R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire, I think particularly Book 4, has a bit of that, which you see in this. And, of course, this was a huge influence, a primary influence, one might even say, for George R. R. Martin writing A Song of Ice and Fire. So you could see he wore his influences on his sleeves with books like Stone of Farewell. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the ride. I hope to finish it this week. Let's see how it all goes. The next book I got to do, and I know a lot of Malazan Book of the Fallen fans are going to be happy to hear this, is I finally started Book 4, House of Chains. Now, I'm kind of reading on the Kindle, and I'm also reading out of this mass market paperback, which, if you could see, I don't even know if you could see this, but very small print. So it's a little harder to follow in this. I sometimes prefer reading my Kindle Scribe because it's a little bit easier to see the words and everything. And I've gotten introduced to Karsa Orlong, which I've been very excited about because everyone raves about this character. And I'm already seeing, wow, interesting family dynamics. Curious to see where his character goes from here. I've only finished the prologue and I'm about midway through chapter one. But I gotta say, it's a very tonally different book from Memories of Ice. One thing I really like about Malazan Book of the Fallen, by the way, is each book feels like it has its own identity within the Malazan universe. The first one felt a bit more disjointed, but introduced you to some of the big characters, the heavyweights in the series. The second was very dark, but intentionally so. The third one had a theme of compassion. I'm curious to see what this fourth one is going to have with some different characters. And some new, and some of the older favorites as well. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Seems like it's a continuation of certain plot and character threads from book 2, Dead House Gates. So that was my favorite of the 3 so far. So I'm excited to see where certain ones end up. But that's also what I read. I got a chance to read a little bit of Mad Ship, but not more than a few pages. This is book 2 of The Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb. I gotta say, this is far and away the better novel compared to the first one, Ship of Magic. I loved Ship of Magic, but I felt I wasn't necessarily like blown back until the last maybe third of it. And I feel like this one, every time I pick it up, it's like no time has passed. Even if a week goes by before I'm able to pick it up again. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing this as a buddy read with Ellie from Bibbidi Bobbidi Books, who has been very patient with my crazy schedule. And I know we want to do a discussion of the Live Ship Traders in full at some point. So when we get to the third book, I'll keep you all posted, when we get a chance to do that discussion. But all very exciting all around. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to read next week. So next week promises to be a busy week, but I'm trying to do certain things that are a little bit different. This morning I woke up early. I meditated for about 20 minutes just to clear my mind of anything happening in the day. And then I sat with a timer. I timed myself for an hour. And I personally, I don't know about you all, but I am such a victim of doom scrolling. I'm such a victim of social media addiction, especially with managing this channel, managing the Discord, working on my music channels. It just seems like it's a lot, and this is my way of reclaiming that time. But even with reading, it can be very easy to pick up the phone. So I'm trying to figure out ways of like putting limitations on myself. So this is what I did. And, that's how I got through like 60 pages of this in an hour, which never happens because it's, denser fantasy. But just trying to find ways of doing that. So my goal this week is to finish this book, Stone of Farewell. And I think I'll be able to do that relatively quickly, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Slowly make my way through House of Chains and Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. And then our Discord has just started as of this weekend. So if you want to join, it's not too late at all. Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. Now, this is going to be my first Erik Larson book, but we are doing it as an official channel read along. Figured rather than trying to do 10-book Mammoth Opus series, which is very hard for people to keep up on, let's just do one solo entry. So we have this one that is, we're going to be reading throughout the month of August. A bunch of people are already having discussions, so feel free to join the Discord below. And I'm having Kate, who is a wonderful, wonderful member of the Discord and also made me the Hills of Tenchiko shirt. She has kindly offered to help moderate the channel, at least for now, which has been really helpful because, trying to manage all this stuff on your own is a huge prospect. So very grateful to you, Kate, for stepping up to do that and volunteering to help out. But yeah, so you could check that out. And basically this book is about, I don't want to give too much away, but let's put it this way. The Chicago World's Fair, turn of the 20th century, during the construction of this, there was an actual historical this is all based on historical events of a serial killer, one of America's first serial killers, who had a property very close by to that construction site and would lure people away from there and torture and kill them. And there's a little bit of these parallel storylines running through. And this actually happened. So interesting. I've heard the author's great. My father-in-law, John, actually introduced me to this book. So I'm really grateful. He introduced me, and I'm really grateful that we're all reading along together. So I think it's not a very big book, a few hundred pages. We're going to probably read a fourth per week or so. But feel free to go at your own pace if you'd like to. So that is the plans as far as reading is for this week. Let's talk a little bit about the channel. So we are at 1,297 subscribers, just short of 1,300 now. And we have 83 people on the Discord. So we have quite a nice burgeoning community of wonderful people. We get a chance to talk about books. We get a chance to celebrate each other's wins. We get a chance to be a support group for each other if life gets a little overwhelming. And it's great to form friendships there. So I'm so grateful to any of you who want to join in this community, because I like to keep things positive. I think life is too heavy as it is, and we should enjoy each other's company and share books and become friends through it. So that has been wonderful. We had the Reading Roundup, which went out on Tuesday, the books that blew me away, and a particular one I talked about in that one. So you could check that out here if you want to. Then I released Adaptation News Episode 7, which is an ongoing series where I give you not only news of books, your favorite books for the big and small screen, where they are in adaptation, but extra context that you probably won't get anywhere else because, as I mentioned, I work in the industry. I have access to certain databases that let you find out what does it mean it's in development? Who has been added to the cast? Who has been silently added as a producer that they don't necessarily announce via the news? And what does that mean for the project? Is it moving forward? Is it in development hell? Where are your favorite adaptations? So if you're interested, I'm going to keep doing this at least bi-weekly. So that's kind of my goal now. So please subscribe if you want to be apprised of that, and you can check out that video up here. I wanted to do my monthly wrap-up. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I released The Meaning of Life as a single on Friday. Couldn't do it, so I'm going to put that for this week. So Reading Roundup is Tuesdays as always now. Now on Thursday, I'm going to have my monthly wrap-up for July, which I'm very excited to get out there. Talk about some great books I got a chance to read and some wonderful discussions I got a chance to have with other booktubers and a lot of you as well. I want to do a video essay about the importance of reading. Now, feels like a funny video essay to have for, people who are already avid readers or people who prioritize reading. But basically what I want to do is talk a little bit about not only the importance of reading in our own lives, but the importance of why it is better for the world to have readers and critical thinkers, and how we can do our part to help foster that love of reading in our fellow human beings. As we all know, reading has been down. And literacy rates have even been going down in the United States, So it's very important, I think, for us to all do our due diligence to push that ball forward. I think that would be a fun discussion to have. And also how we can be intentional about our own reading experiences. So I think we can have the video structured twofold. How we can move outward to help other people foster a love of reading and make the world a better place as a result, and then how we can foster a love of intentional reading amongst ourselves. So that's kind of the video essay I want to put out, which will be out on Saturday. So now let's talk a little bit about the music front. As I mentioned before, The Meaning of Life is now out on all digital platforms. This is an interesting song. This took 12 years to write, my friends. 12 years. Sometimes things take the time they take, and I'll tell you why. I'd done a 10-day silent meditation retreat called Vipassana. This was what supposedly the Buddha had taught 2,500 years ago to his disciples, and on down the list, oral tradition, all the way to present day. And I did a 10-day silent retreat, no phones, no music, no exercise, no nothing, just 10 to 14 hours a day of meditation. And after I came out of that, I had this lyric pop in my mind and a piano melody. And the lyric was, "Nothing lasts forever, even your dreams." And it chilled me to the bone, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what possessed me to think of it, how it appeared in my consciousness. But I started to realize that even the things that we cling to, like, I have a dream to do this, I want to be a musician, I want to do whatever. Our dreams evolve, our dreams change, and they are impermanent. And how do you deal with that? And so that was kind of a journey I've been taking over the last 12 years, and it culminated in this song. And, it's a facetious title, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, The Meaning of Life. It's a meaning of life as it applies to me, and I think it's part of something that we all deal with in life, the universal idea of constantly chasing things, hoping that it will make us feel complete. So yeah, if you like this kind of music, definitely check it out below. And I'm going to have a lyric video coming out, some more deep dives about that on my other music channel. So I would really appreciate the support. As a musician and as a composer, always word of mouth helps. So if you like it, please feel free to share it. Then I got a chance to work on a couple game projects. One is based on IP. can't talk about it. And the other one is based on original IP, which I unfortunately can't talk about as well. But I did do some tracks for that. I also did a main theme, which I'm going to submit for the docuseries, the conservation docuseries. So I was like, I've been working on themes up the wazoo, and so it's been great. It's been really, really nice. But, Upshot is trying to figure out how to balance everything. Spending time with my wife. We had our date night, which was nice. We're trying to do that every week. Make sure that's set in stone. And then I'm training for the triathlon. So it's absurd to try to do all these things. But I also feel like it helps me balance my life. I don't know. You let me know what you think about it. Like, do you have specific techniques that you use to balance your reading life with your regular life? Or just all the things you want to do? Because I think we're all very passionate people who want to do stuff, that we have hobbies and we want to have the time for them. So I'd love to know what you think about that and what your techniques are for that. But, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know more about what you read. Anything interesting happened to you this week? Leave it in the comments. I would love for you to join the Discord, join in on those conversations. Feel free to join the read along if you would like. All the links for everything are below in the description. And thank you for being here. The community is only as good as the people in it. So we have been very fortunate to have a wonderful community, and it's a joy to see it keep growing and spreading the positivity amongst each other and with other people as well. So be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem, and I will see you on Thursday with another video. Take care.